Good evening, everybody. Are you ready to confuse? We have many reasons to confuse. The text is very complicated. Who are explained who's explained is not really good. Something here, something here, something here. Then it gets more confused. But it's good, even if we don't understand very detailed about, they use a very strong influence. If we have influence, then one day the condition come in, definitely. Definitely always. Then one day you get resolved. And what is influence? We have to also question what is influence, right? And anyway, usually whatever we do, activities, we put influence on our mind. Just an example, maybe I holding the black chalk, and always do a little bit this, a little bit, touch here, right? A little black on the white paper, I do always put a little bit, always on the white paper, put a little bit, black chalks, Same, look like that, and then always we do some non-virtues, they put influence our mind. And when the conditions all together, then the result become, automatic. Right? For example, when we buy the dry barley, or dry wheat, or dry rice, first they just dry. But it has power, ability to grow again other barleys, right? When we put that under the ground, then water, heat, or other things all together, then they automatically what we call the result of, how is that? Coming, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, we usually Shanakati, bodhicitta, right? Shanakati. Shanakati say all the weeds have to Dhammakati. All the weeds has correct.
So all the seeds have the ability to grow into a sprout, but it's not necessary to grow. It's not certain to grow. It has the ability to grow, but it's not certain to grow. So if it is certain to grow, then it has to grow, right? If it's certain to grow, but if if it has the ability to grow, it's not necessary to grow. It doesn't have to grow, but it can have ability to grow, but it doesn't have to grow. But if it is certain to grow, then it has to grow.
It is what's that? Dharma is we call philosophy. They have lot in our debates anyway. Why that in the kanji maji tanga to pacha ya usha is kanji kadi chi.
So anyway, if we study, then it will definitely leave a good imprint in our minds. So when that imprint meets the condition, then it will ripen. And so therefore all sentient beings have the ability to achieve enlightenment. And so Buddha Maitreya in his Sublime Continuum, he gave reason, 4 reasons to prove that we have the Buddha nature or the ability to achieve enlightenment. So all sentient beings, in the continuum of all sentient beings, there is the seed of the Buddhahood, or the ability to achieve Buddhahood. And so the other reason is that Buddha's mind and sentient beings' mind are same, being empty of true existence. So the Buddha nature is pervaded in all in the mind of all sentient beings. So all the sentient beings will achieve enlightenment because they have the Buddha nature, the ability to achieve enlightenment. So if it's a sentient being, it's certain to achieve enlightenment one day, someday. So that's a seed, the dry seed has the ability to grow into a sprout, but it's not certain to grow into a sprout, right? But whereas sentient beings, we can say, have the ability to become enlightened, and will definitely become enlightened. So you can find a dry seed that may not grow into a sprout or fruit, and so therefore it is not certain that every seed will grow into a sprout. But if there isn't any sentient being who is not going to get enlightenment, and so if it's sentient being, then it's certain to get enlightenment. So can you find a seed that will not grow into a sprout?
That will not?
That will not grow into a sprout.
Yeah.
What kind?
Popcorn.
Yeah.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Popcorn 나도 가는다. 딱하니 고값을 내려다는다 그게 말았어.
So yeah, that's right. The popcorn you can't grow into sprout, right? Because it's already burnt, fried.
How people not? That's Dharma. Those come from horror. That's not. That's Dharma.
Not alike. The Harvard people are not alike.
Correct?
They're different from the ordinary people.
See also. Weird.
But even his thinking is very good, Sometimes people don't think, how can you find, It's really difficult. It's very think very easily, That
So it has the ability, right? It has the ability because it is a seed. Right? It has the ability because it has a seed. That's it. So it's possible to grow, but it's not certain to grow. And so same with the sentient beings. Sentient beings, you can say sentient beings are possible to achieve enlightenment and also certain to achieve enlightenment.
What is this? 가제 맞에 단단하라서 지지 셈때 아니 딱 또베 잡아 대도 저거나 춥트도 해서 사지제 그건다 사지 리타는 나가게 해서요. 그래서 빼셔다. 이 쇼마도 이나 지금 뭐가 들리시요? 그게 또베 잡아 단단하라서 셈 아니 살때 또베 잡아 and then the travel to the reservoir. The past so and that's not the reservoir.
So right now our mind, is caught in the net, or in the net of the conceptual thoughts. And so when you clear that away, when you free your mind from that conceptual thoughts, then you achieve enlightenment.
다 또베 잡아서 가리가 쳐졌나? 다 댄스 다스 말을 받아야지.
So the net of the conceptual thought is the ignorance, grasping a true existence.
And 다스 댄스 해야 돼. 같이 랑이 들어가지 된다. 되도록 들어가지 된다.
So grasping a true existence, is grasping as the things as existing from their own side.
대리점은 강 진별로 되게 다 대박 이 좀마다 다 매봐야
So whatever object is grasping, doesn't exist in a way that is being grasped.
가르치는 그 정화대 수주랑 맞고 있는 거를 따라하는 거 봐시. 근데 주 탐지 뛰는 거 봐야자 다그 정화대 다 조금 해봐야 그래요.
So the way he grasp or apprehend the object, is as if it exists from its one side. Since there isn't anything exists from its one side, everything has to depend on something. Therefore, grasping or apprehending as exists from its one side is wrong.
그래서 지를 보시 강식 땡주 많이 추가해 봐요. 대신 동화 많이 추가해 봐요.
And so that's what Longtsokapa said. There isn't any phenomenon or thing that is not interdependent, and there isn't any phenomenon that is not empty.
다들 대화하면서 다른 소리 따고 그래서 와다 내가 떼주세요. 그냥 떼주 라파로 올라가야나. 아니 지금 지금 전부다 주주세야지. 까보다 잡아서야. 양보도 양보 많이 봤어야 돼. 찍을 때네. 떼주 라파로 해나. 샤워하면서. 근데 제가 양보 생각도 찍어야지도 와서. 그다 사지면나.
So you have to find out about interdependent. What does interdependent means, or dependent arising means. And so we talk about the gross dependent arising. So there's the thin and fat, or good and bad, short and tall, and so forth. So all these are interdependent. You can't say this is good, without comparing it with the bad. So the good is not absolutely good. It's good because it is better than the bad, so that's why it's good, and so forth. So this is how it's dependent on others.
그래서 나라도 지금 들으잖아. 다 개와 그래놓고 약으로 그렇게 떼고 말아. 개와 그 그들 약으로 하는 거. 개와 떼니 개와 떼는 용어로 와서.
So you can say the virtue, is good. It's absolutely good all the time, right? It's good all the time. But again, the virtue comes by depending on non-virtue.
배다 떼저라 바로 친다. 발이 트리셔야 돼. 스릴라 때는 파리시 오나도 스릴이면 안 파리시 용 말고 주발이세.
So, if we, also again, another example of growth interdependent is this side and that side. So this side of the river depends on that side of the river. If there's no that side, there cannot be this side.
뭐라고? 다시 답된대. 양아치 전제된데서 양아치 용도 was. 전제된데 말이 있어야 돼. 보면은 말 샤식 말. 말은 보면은 말이 용식 말 was. 말면은 그대로 거기 봐 뚫지 않는 was. 전제된데서.
And then there's the dependence of the causal dependence. Causal dependence. So the result has to depend on the cause, and the cause has to depend on the result. So the cause is not cause without the result, right? And so then, there cannot be result without the cause. And so there cannot be mother without a son or child, and there cannot be child without a mother. And so, if a woman don't have a child, then that woman will never be called mother, right? And same with a man, if he doesn't have a child, he will not be called father. So those are the causal dependence. And so the disintegration of the things also depends on cause and conditions. Without depending on cause and condition, there cannot be a disintegration. So for example, today I am, this year I am 42 years old, and so the 42 years of me, did I become to 42 years old over the night?
After I'm 40, yesterday I go to hospital, they say you're 42. I never said. Maybe Tibetan did that maybe 43 or 4. Anyway, today is up and 다 드링아 그냥 로시지 신이 영화돼. 아니 지금 로세도 나와서 니마다 추서 가라. 근데 샤십제 내가 추들이 잡시야. 대한 추서는 다 까마 세컨드 투 파파파파 지테나. 그러니까 진짜 영화도 저기라고 왔어.
So the 42-year-old became, if you can put it to year from accumulating many years, right? And then you have a year to accumulate many months, and then month through many days, and then day through many hours, and hour through many minutes, and then minutes through many seconds, and then second you can split into like the sub-seconds and so forth. So by combining all these times together, then you reach to 42 years old, right?
Right, then gray hair, not wrinkles here. Usually we say when a person has gray hair, here's a lot of wrinkles, then we say they get old. Usually we talk about Dharma, and true the Shivana,
so in generally in our day-to-day life, we usually say a person has grown old when he has a white hair, gray hair, or wrinkles on his face. But according to the Dharma, in reality, the person is old from the moment he was born, from the second moment of his birth. So he's growing older and older. So that his young age, will never come back, right, from the time he was born. So his young age will never come back, right? The infant time will never come back. is already disintegrated.
그러나 계산들이 다 들이마도 그만 계산하고 가슴한테는 들이마도 다 이마치 계산하고.
So compared to yesterday, today we have grown older, right? Older by 1 day.
오늘 대대로 파진 것도 대화로 해나 같이 깨는 깨진 이만에 지게 되는 주바, 개가 되는 주바에 말했어. 대대로 봐, 지시하나.
And so when we think in that way, then from the second moment of our birth, we have already started to grow old. The dependent link of aging has already started.
그리고 아니 맞아 지금 뭐셔를 왜라야. 뭐 그래. 있는 거 같다. 오늘 아는 말이야. 어디지? 다 배셔야 다 등한도데 이도 가만 세월차로 왔어. 대고 들이차서 말아왔어. 이부터 서 들이차서 말고 그래서 괜히다 끼친 맛이 니만 맛이 취투지 뭐 호지 빠지네. 그거 다 세워서 곧 다니시는 거 잡아러 왔어. 그러면 같이 차서 말아와.
So right now you see the leaves turn yellow, right? And they didn't turn yellow in a short time, right? From yesterday, interview for yesterday, many times, by combining all this time together, then it grows into being a yellow leaves, right?
오늘 텐데 같이 진짜 텐데 안에 편도 뒤에 텐데서 텐데 나는 그래서 상담 깨지면 싫어하는 말이에요.
And so there's interdependence of the cause and result, cause and effect, and then there's interdependence of depending on each other.
다 배려오시네. 딱 나도 건강 안 쓰면 나도 딜러스 갑밥이나 가야로도 나도 지금 고치 내리는 나도 딜러스 내려봐 돈도 봤어. 나도 지금 소소 나한테 주반 돈도 봤어.
So then when we talk about grasping at the self of the person, and you look at the person like a Dolores, you just see her being there, and you think that's Dolores.
다 근데 삼로 단위 딜러스 가게 돼. 딜러스 해야 돼야 시바이래도 딜러스 수보들 딜러스라도 딜러스 시바를 딜러스라도 나도 가려고.
And so then again, we'll think in more detail about Dolores. Who's Dolores? Which one is Dolores? Is it her mind or is it her body? And which one is Dolores?
근데 다 딜러스 공부 땅 딜러스 가라고 왔어.
So Dolores and Dolores' body are separate, right? It's two different things.
그러나 semche 딱 뭐다 들어간 거지. 가지 강사되게 공부다 강사되게 가려고 하잖아. 생이.
So we don't have to say Dolores, but we can say like a person, any kind of being, right? A person is separate from his body, right?
야,
Is it?
저도 강사되게 공부다 강사되게 가면 되지.
So what proof can you give to show that these two are different? The person and person's body are different.
그러나 강사되게 공부다 강사되게 가지는 말이었어.
Why is person's body not a person?
강사되게 처음에 공부다 얘가 말았어.
The moment the person exists, the body is there, right?
근데 다 가지는 말이었어.
So, but the person's body is not a person, right? Why is that?
Can you just okay.
Person is merely just a label that we apply to an aggregate, a collection of different aggregates, of an aggregate of different causes. It's just merely a label that we impute on a collection of different causes and conditions.
근데 다 공부대 강사했는데 깨달았어.
So, what is what mistake is there if you say the person's body is person?
You're equating the label. That's grasping. That's saying that's making the mistake of saying that the label is the reality. That's what I would say is the mistake. Maybe I'm not articulating it right.
Or you're also just saying as long as the body is there, the person is there. But when a person dies, their body is still there.
Correct.
But we don't say it's the person's still.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Oh, that collapse was 가서 풍보대 강사였나? 근데 미시다 풍보대가 다 밑에다 영향을 나고 그러고 풍보도 와야 돼. 밑에도 다 영향을 나고 그러고.
You could still say it's person, but it would have a different meaning.
Is a person who died?
I'd say, but I mean,
The body is
yeah,
person.
different. No, it's not. The label. That's what's meant by the label.
But the other way to think of it is you also say my body.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are a person, you could just say me, or if you said body, people would know that it means your body.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah, yes.
But since you say my body, it means like you are something that owns the body.
Mm.
Good. It's good. Do you see?
Mm.
What is it? If you say, okay,
How about the dream? The dream.
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 Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Mhm.
You know the dream. You know.
What means? Yeah.
Explain more. What do you mean?
What means?
The body is stay in the bed,
Yeah.
but has some the experience. The dream in his dream. You know that mind you know
Your dream body.
말하는 나. 나를 갔을 때 적절히 독하는 것 같아.
you know the
아니.
you know the 인다나 니드나 냐요나 양 신카카요나 신그
알레는.
자사 요기요들
야야.
그냥
야.
전자는 그게 야나
단다. It's good, A was and he said because we call my body, it doesn't say mine. We usually when we say we also when we die, body is still there, but we say the person is already gone. We don't say person, right? But there are many reasons that we 가서 갈 풍부대 강사도 예배는 다 가서 깨우면 가서 내려고 통도 가.
So we can see many faults if the body is the person, right?
다 있나? 다 오나? 다 샘대 밑에 와서 내려나? 샘대.
So what about the mind? Is the mind person?
저쪽에서 내려가라. 샘대.
Still the same as before.
No?
No, the mind is just a collection of impermanence and causes and conditions, karmic events.
The mind? 근데 맞아야 됐어.
샘 맞아가 싶어요 뭐라. 싶어서 이렇게 살지. 되니까 샘대 맞아 샤다. 맞아 샘대 말이에요.
So in this case, the imprint is not a mind. Imprint is, is it's an impermanent thing, but it's not, what do you call that? Mind. It's a because limited So usually when we talk about the thing, impermanent things or functional thing, then it's divided into three. It's called the matter. So one kind of thing is the matter, and the other one is the mind, and the third one is called the non-associated constitutional factor. So that's neither mind nor the matter. And so it is a non-associated constitutional factor. The imprint is a non-associated constitutional factor. So it's not a mind and not a matter. So mind is a place where you put the imprint, and so mind itself is not imprint.
Yeah.
This definition of mind, I just want to check myself, is the definition of mind something that it's clear in knowing? That is the definition of mind.
So
사실은
I just want to check myself.
다음에나 다 조조 샘도 조조해야 말았나? 갈라서 그래. Yes, no.
So if the mind person?
No.
다 조조 가세 샘도 소소 이바이다 다 대충 말해서 그래서.
So what fault is there if the mind
It's the same
is
as
the person?
body. The same. When you say my mind, or I'm losing my mind, or my mind
Yeah.
is like somewhere else today, or
If you say it's the same, then it means it has a whole common locus, that it equals it exactly. So there may be like some things that are shared, but it's like equal exactly. It's not correct.
So there's a common locus of mind and me.
Well, I think it just says identification. I think people don't identify totally with their body and their mind. I think if you asked a really old or infirmed person if they would like a different body, they would certainly take it. And a mentally ill person, if they could be cured and have a different mind or be of a different mind, would certainly, want to be cured of a disturbed mind. So, as far as identifying with body and mind, eventually, when I think of mind, I think about my thoughts, my feelings, my memories, my imprints, what I carry on with me. All
But
the
you still
time.
say my.
Well,
The possessive means that you are something other than that. And
right.
Like the person who has that mind must be the owner of it.
Well,
I mean, just like,
that's just because I don't know any better.
yeah, I know, that's the point. I mean, that's the whole point, is that we don't pay attention to how we actually think about the experiences we have, but we do say my mind and my body.
Could that be a function of our
But I
life?
think what I'm saying is on a deeper level. I mean, when people are pressed to it, they're not as attached to this particular body and this particular mind. I know for myself, I have a sense that, I'd like a younger body and a clearer mind, so I don't identify with it as a permanent.
But still, when you say, like, I would like a different body, the I who gets the new body would still be the same mind, right? Would still be you.
Pretty much, yeah.
So the person is there, and the mind and the body is like something the person can have or exchange, or
Just a little
like when people
tolerance
say
for
like
it.
I will be reborn in somewhere, and it's like, no, probably not you. Right? If you are reborn, you'll be someone else.
Well, I think it's just confusing, but just for myself, I think most people don't totally identify with
Yeah.
their present state.
Would you be somebody else? You'd be a continuation. I don't know that you would be yourself or not yourself.
I don't think you would be the same person, is what I'm saying.
Anyway, we little bit discuss a little difficult things because we are here most Takare.
So, Geshe is saying that because we are, or you are, not me, you are, advanced students, more advanced. So you should be discussing about more hard, more difficult topics, like this.
Now we are at maybe high school, college. You don't want to discuss all the same things again and again. Therefore, 다 가지마지 수주 샘다 수주 많이 가서 그냥 게 샘지 없는 사람다 이러라데 수주 샘도 수주 많이 가가지고 그 무슨 데도 왔어.
So anyway, so just by saying like that, my mind is not, not good or not happy and so forth. Just by saying that, you show that your mind is not you. Your mind is separate from from yourself. Right?
남중 가서 가르는 강사서 다 같이 공 수주문을 쳐대버려. 근데 나도 나게 몇 사람거든 나게 왔어.
So normally, in our view, we think of person. When we think of person, even though maybe a little bit of it, we know that it's not existing from its one side. But normally when we see the person, the person appears as existing from its one side, right?
나게 몇 사람게 남시 신앙에 나 정말 쌈상거든. 가지 나한테 나로 그러.
And so you might think that the person doesn't exist from its own side, but the person does appear to exist from its side to you.
We all stand, not you guys, okay? 근데 이 말 다 강사세 가지 있나? 다 부모가 때문에 답을 말씀드려서 다 송구를 와.
So if you're like me, ordinary person like me, who has not realized emptiness, then the object, the thing, or the person will appear like that. Anyway, so the person is a name, is a level, right? Given to the aggregates. Right?
내디 실로 건가 내 실로 건가를 파트 투체 도도지는 것도 쪽세는 자고 실도 파트는 것도 쪽세라고 말하고.
So you combine all these pieces of the wood together and then put it in that shape, and it's called table, right? But if you just put it in a wood separate there, it will not be called table.
뭐 근데다 다 추가리가 가지 또배 따자. 다 이발에 들어가 가지.
But anyway, every feeling, any kind of thing, is merely imputed by mind,
그거.
imputed or labeled by mind.
근데 다 단위의 사실에서 나가는 더 거래서 단위.
So, but the term, the name that you use for the phenomena, it has to accord with its functionality, right? It has to function in that way. If it doesn't function in that way, then you can't call it such and such.
간제 말아서 나는 저거요 말해서 것이다. 요노들하고 말했어. 말하더라 나는 저거 말해서.
So anyway, the things do not exist the way they appear to us, right? But doesn't mean they don't exist at all. They exist, but don't exist in a way they appear to us.
Yeah, yes, sir.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm confused. So there is a continuity of consciousness at death as you go into Bardo and into the next life. And realized beings can remember past lives. So, what is that?
What's what?
That if you can remember from past lives, so...
You say, who's that? Or?
Maybe. But if there is no me, what is the sort of the thread that goes through?
No, there is a me. There is me. But there's no me exists from its own side.
Say it again.
There is a me. The me is there. There is a me. But there is no me existing from its own side. Or existing truly without depending on others.
Okay.
So there is no such me, but there is me.
Yeah.
나도 깨워 마셔라. 레제의 상에도 내가 여고 치는 맛이 여기 있어. 깨워 마시는 거기다. 내가 야부도 치는 맛이 여기 있어.
그래서 다른 교황아마나 미치다 던져도 잘. 아까 교황아마 그 던져라. 단답합니다. 단답 말입니다. 단답 말이 니자다. 단답 교황아마 나 던져지. 미마라. 어디서부터 그래서 다른 교황아마 치고라다. 그때 나서는 못한 두고라. 남치도 못한 두고라. 어디 가려서 봐. 다른 게마들 단답 말하다. 저랑들은 이제 막 가르치려 하고 뭐라. 저랑 같은 미인 거 봐라. 저랑 미 봐라. 단단처럼 미라. 이나도 제가 그 주와 대로 봐라. 이거 그래서.
근데 지발에서 변화. 단단 말도 다 뭐지? 단가 마시는 거 봐주잖아. 다 계속 봐주기 셈 좋아 그러지. 미생 말했을 때 그랬는데.
And so when you die, I mean when you from your past life, you come into this life, from this life, we don't know what we were in the past life. So I will be that person, that being in that past life, right? And then this life, I become a human being. So this life, I'm a human being. So it's the same continuum of mind, but it changed. So I became a human being. And then if I'm born as a cow next life, I will be a cow. Right? So there is the I, but it will become cow now. So it changes.
The I is not the same as a person though. The I is not the same as a person.
그때 봐주고 마셔.
나다 강사가 기운은 되지라 해야.
강사가
You're not the same person.
No. When we say person, kansa, right? Yeah. So they are kansa.
But they are not the same concept as the previous life, right?
Yeah, not same kind.
Right.
Not same kind, but they are kansa.
Yeah.
So they are now. There is I.
Yeah.
So there is
Not
the
the
I,
same one.
but the I has changed.
Yes.
I change in this life also.
Yeah.
I 2 years old is not who I 20 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm 20 years old now, or I'm 40 years old now, and so I change this all the time. So
They change,
even in this life,
but they're the same continuum.
the same continuum, of course.
But you have to be careful when you say that, because it sounds like the same when you say same continuum, then people think, okay, that stays the same.
Yeah.
Didn't I read in
Or one continuum.
100,000 Songs of Milarepa, he said, consider as one your past life, this life, and the life ahead. Consider as one. Is that right? Do I have that right? Did I remember right? Does that sound right?
Which song?
I thought that was really smart. It made a lot of sense.
Consider as one.
Yeah, consider as one this life, the past life, and the future.
How do you
Even you path left like a cow. You think I'm the cow?
Not in that regard, but it's like the causes and conditions.
Judge, maybe judges.
So as one means maybe one continuum.
Not 10%.
We can't switch continuums. We
Yeah.
can't decide just, I
Yeah.
don't like mine, so I'll take
But what is the continuum?
Yo,
Yeah.
isn't it like that? It's because whatever you're born as in another life, isn't that dependent on your mind stream and what's going on with you? Right? It's
Karma.
like that- yeah, your karma. So it would be dependent on that, right? So what you're born as or who you are in this life is dependent on that.
정치사든 너마처럼 북을 농가쳐버리 단다 대장 단다 루시 주가는 자니 진치레스 간다 북이 주인 저랑 뭐야 계속 말아왔어. 아니 숨쉬야지. 네, it's okay.
Oh, no.
We talk a little bit vacuum for you.
Oh, all right.
No, I'm joking.
I can take it.
정치.
So that's what one continuum means, right?
그거서.
You understood?
I understood, but
You understood,
you should
okay.
translate for me.
No, you are the one who was asking what is one continuum, right? So anyway, 5 years old, how old you are now? Like say 40. Is that too much to say?
42.
So that so you from there, it's the same person, who came from that time to this time, and so that's called one continuum.
But the continuum itself means that it doesn't mean a thing. It means actually that there's like a like cause and effect or something. I forget how you say it exactly, but like the mind of, one moment of your mind can only give rise to another moment of a mind, a like mind, and
Yeah.
that way it's a continuum like that, but not that there's a thing.
So it's not necessarily your mind. You can say this table also.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a continuum of this table from the time it was made until now. It has this continuum. It was there yesterday, so it's here today, and tomorrow there will be there. The continuation is there. But if the after tomorrow somebody burns it because it's too cold, then it will be gone. Then there's no continuum, no continuum of the table then.
But you could easily say too the continuum of the matter, which makes up the table. In that case, it continues.
Yes, of course, yeah.
The functions changed.
Okay.
Functions change. Yes.
Anyway, it's
It was holding book, but that time it will be giving fire and heat.
Anyway, a lot of confused things, but something a lot of thinking. It's a reality. It doesn't think just me. There's a little bit more job for our mind. Right? 뭐 다들 관심 맞지? 다 semje 담저가 사제를 다 사제지고 해 말이야. 사제지고 다 사제와라 다 람. 단지
So the sentient beings have the ability, the possibility to achieve enlightenment. So in order to achieve enlightenment, then you have to enter into a path, any of the 15 paths.
다 가상도 지금 다 남모고 빠져도 뭐만 합사 있어요. 돈은 그것도 뭐 합사 있어.
Can I borrow one of your books?
Okay.
So last time we talked about the abandonments, right, on the path of path of seeing and the path of meditation.
다음에나 저는 다 그거 먹고 나도 차 있어. 이제 담보인의 링이 강사이나 강사들은 민주 삼바 남께와나 아니 강사다. 그거 강사 처음부터 주로 그래서 담보인의 링이
So in the case of the Mahayana path, so the person who enters into the Mahayana path straight from the beginning, without going through the heroes or so to realize path. So the moment he or she generates renunciation, and that's when he or she enters into the Mahayana path. So the renunciation is a mind that wishes to achieve liberation, wants to be liberated from psychosis throughout day and night. When you have that thought, then you have generated renunciation.
아니 대부도 상담 이렇게 가는 게 저는 아니 그 저런 걸 쓰고 말 가지고 거기다 써야 와서 아마라 보고 전에 보고 비슷하고 또 하다가시 그러면은 아마 얘나 사나니나 보고 때까지 생각하고 와서
So you don't have to think it's so difficult to have that kind of thought throughout day and night. How can I have that kind of thought throughout day and night? Because when I go to sleep, I don't have that thought and things like that. So just like I gave the example of a mother thinking about her child all the time, and of course, she sleeps, but in her mind, the person, the child is always there.
아니研究세 아니 사자와라 딱研究아니 샤저고 섬 이제研究대 샤저고 섬스나 다다 신생 섬하고 생각을 와서 대화처럼.
And so in the Mahayana path, of course, it has to be conjoined with the bodhicitta, right? So when that mind, of renunciation and bodhicitta are generated together, conjoined with each other, then you enter into the Mahayana path.
좋아. 아니 돈이 또 계시라. 아니 단단하고 가사람이 맞아가 도구죠. 거기서 내가 맞아가. 랑 나한테 맞아가 도구를 다 돈이 또 걸려서. 어디다 또 그랬어. 내가 돈이 또 걸려서. 좋아. 민주시장에서 야도 있다가 되겠죠.
Then the correct view is the view of the emptiness, realizing that things do not exist from their own side, or do not exist as they appear to us, and so forth. So that's realizing emptiness. So those are the three, the principal aspects of the path: renunciation, bodhicitta, and emptiness.
어디에다 다 손을 쉬네. 다 손도 요놈이라 아니 대화 친구고 다 소식을 나누면서 대화하면서 말했어.
And so that's the first path, right? The path of accumulation, and then you enter, and then you move up to the path of preparation. So those two paths are the ordinary paths.
다 드네 동반이 되게서도 그리 또 와이나 다 돈은 봐봐야 되잖아요. 그래서.
And then when you realize emptiness directly, and that time you become, Arya being, a superior being, and achieve the path of seeing.
어디지? 근데 다 돈을 봐야돼요. 돈을
So you achieve the path of seeing.
돈음지. 단에 고놈. 다 드네 지금 돈음 고놈이 뭐 강빵가요. 빠져 안에 다 고놈 봐야지. 빠져 되니 뭐 시간도 다 고놈 살기로.
And then after that is the path of meditation. So whenever you have abandoned what you are supposed to abandon on the path of seeing, and then when you achieve that antidote to abandon the abandonment of the path of meditation, then you have achieved the path of meditation. And then in the path of meditation there are 10 grounds.
아니 마다 사든나 사든만 맞지나 마다 사든으로.
So there are the 7 impure grounds.
아니 마다 사든 지사가 람들가 고능적으로 통적으로 말해요.
So all are counted on the path of meditation.
다 다바사슴스나 아니 사지와 그 와서 다바사슴스를 해줘.
And then the 3 pure grounds, so the 8, 9, and 10 grounds are the pure grounds.
아니 고나도지들 띵에더니 아니 다 가지 기준이 반에까지 상기라고 그래요.
So the path of meditations, Vajra, like meditative stabilization or concentration, And with that, then you achieve state of full enlightenment.
그리고 그때다 가능한 너무 주시다. 같이 나도 사교라 같이 하면서 속속하고 와서 노력 시켜주려고 했나?
So according to our the sutra system, it takes three countless great eons for one to achieve enlightenment.
그때다 다속 같이 당도 속 가는 거 손에 가디 주죠. 이바데 가디로 수바데 가디나 주죠 가디 가리가를.
So when do you complete the first countless eons accumulation, and when do you complete the second countless great eons accumulation of merit, and when do you complete the third countless great eons merit? Do you know that? You remember?
Is it the first two, the Solam and Jolam takes one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember how you break the rest of them actually. I think it's from the first to the sixth, is it? Is another one?
Up to seven.
Up to seven.
Yeah, the seven impure ground, right? And then third one during the three pure grounds.
나도 그냥 아까 사교라 같이 하면서 속속하고 하려고 그랬다. 속 담보는 것까지 나도 같이 하면서 속속해줘야 내고 가서 아마 시까지 해야 된다.
And so we say that we have to, accumulate merit for three countless great eons. And so when do we start from the first countless great eon? And when do we start the second countless great eon? When do we start third? So until we have not entered into the path, we haven't even started. If we are not entering into the path now, then we haven't even started to accumulate merit to achieve enlightenment, right?
나도 사자가하고 온 거다. 다 하고는 약고 그래서. 내가 다 나도 가데나 그래. 다 사지 주 게디서 가서 꼴로서 빌라고 해. 왔을 때 게디 게디서 가디 가봐 가지라 게디 거주라고. 근데 남주 가지라야 주 거주라고 해 생각도 나가는 저도요. 바꾸다 해요.
So then we talked about the three jewels, right? Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Then what kind of person is called Sangha? What kind of Dharma is called Dharma? Jewel here, and so forth. Do you know that, right? You know that, right?
Is it was?
Sangha is a person who's realized emptiness.
Yeah, there are.
Emptiness? Just emptiness?
Yeah, maybe.
Somebody can add maybe emptiness.
Realization of emptiness.
Directly?
Directly.
Oh,
Directly.
directly. Oh, okay.
이렇게 주어서 되고. 근데 야 지금 되게 이렇게 좀 뭐지? 얘나야. 아주 다 직대 봐서 가는 것도 다 나서 지금 게이지 되지나? 라주시 되지나? 근데 게이지 좀 되지 않죠. 그래서.
So that's the real, Dharma jewel. I mean Sangha jewel, right? The actual Sangha jewel. But then there's a conventional or something that can be considered as a Sangha would be like a group of 4 fully ordained monks or fully ordained nuns. You can call that a Sangha also.
다 죽어줘서 죽어주면 가려지나?
So what's the actual Dharma jewel? What is the actual Dharma jewel?
Okay, who's that? It's better.
Buddhist teachings?
Actual Dharma?
The path?
The path?
The path. Yeah, I would think it would be the path.
The path?
Yes.
Any kind of path?
Well, no, the Dharma path.
Yeah, of course, Dharma path, but even in the Dharma path, any kind of Dharma path or a particular Dharma path?
Yeah, I would think either Hinayana or Mahayana path, right? Not sure.
동반이 그냥 또 이러다가 아니 다 담아 봤어요.
또
또 이것도 불러.
I would say, to answer your question, a path that leads to enlightenment. That's how I would define
Sangha
it.
solitude lands.
Path to, there are 84,000 different roads, so it's one of those roads.
남대는 어디죠? 만든다고.
남자들 딱 보는 것도 그러더라고. 가서 동아 다치는 거죠. 거기서 내가 맞아 있는 속도로 뛰고 되게 내가 맞아서 별로 때 매워지니까 지금은 가서 다 고안에 들어가다 다 들어지게 왔어.
So normally we say the true path and true cessation are the actual Dharma, right? Actual Dharma. Not, of course, the path is the Dharma, but when we talk about actual Dharma, then it's the true path, is the mind that realizes emptiness directly. Right? That is the actual Dharma that actually frees you from the suffering. So grasping at things as exist from their own side, is the mind that gives rise to all the sufferings, right? And then when you realize that emptiness, or realize that things do not exist from their own side directly, and that releases you from experiencing all the sufferings. And so therefore, that mind which realizes emptiness directly, the true path, is the actual Dharma. And then the true cessation, that's the actual Dharma.
단단하죠. 그러나 내 말처럼 좀 하세요. 다 나한테 처럼 좀 받으려 왔어. 내 나한테 맞아도 별로 남지나 나한테 좀 받으면 노셔로 와서 고마위 소다로 왔어.
So right now, we have this mind which thinks, things exist in a way they appear to us. And how they appear to us is as existing from their own side. That's how they appear to us. They appear to us, right? And then we think that, oh yeah, that exactly exists in a way that appears to me. So that's not true. So because of that mistaken mind, then we experience all the sufferings, right? So when you generate the mind, or when you realize that things do not exist the way they appear to us, then that mind thinking that things exist the way they appear to us will be diminished.
단단 마소리는 말아서 스스로 마도 휴침을 둬. 스스로 마도 휴침을. 대가게 스스로 마도 저거에 말아.
So right now, even ourselves, right? How do I appear to? And there's a strong grasping at I. I am this, I am that, and so forth. This I, how does it appear to us? It appears to us as it exists from its one side, but it doesn't exist in that way, right? So because of that grasping at I, or that I appearing as it exists from its one side to us, and therefore we have all those other sufferings, problems that come from that.
내 같이 나와도 그런 얘기도 듣네. 나도 고르상도 왔어. 내 삶에도 그런 제가 듣네. 나도 다 가래. 그럼 내 대상은 간접하지 땀 소소 섹슈치면서 가지 노는 거 말도 왔어.
So it's because of the I, grasping at I. So it says, I want this, therefore I have attachment, right? I don't like what that person says, therefore I have anger. I cannot stand that person having better than me, I have jealousy. And I think I'm great, I have pride. So because of that, that I, then comes all these delusions. Right? And so because I think the person is harming me, therefore I think that person is enemy. It's my enemy. And so if whenever we see that I does not exist in a way that appears to us, then all these problems that come from grasping that I as the existence from its one side will not come. And so that is the benefit of realizing emptiness. If you realize emptiness, then those are the benefits. Sometimes people think, what benefits is there? So what if it's empty? They might say, so what if it's empty? What does that benefit me? How does that benefit me? So, of course, it's empty, but you have to realize that. And when you realize that, then it benefits you. So when you realize that what you have, when you realize that it's mistaken, then you will be able to fix it. So even if it's mistaken, if you don't realize it, you'll never fix it.
이거는 나한테 맞아서 또 이래. 또 와서 다 지금 딱 오는 가서 다 답을 틀고 그러더라고. 근데 죽고 죽었어.
And so that mind which realizes emptiness, or which realizes things do not exist in the way they appear to us, and that mind, will lead us, to liberation or enlightenment. Therefore, that mind is the real, actual Dharma.
어떻지? 다 말아주지 죽여줘. 다 말아주지. 다 나중에 나와서 미면에 뭐 개체 보고 들어나서 봐. 다 그거야. 죽여줘. 지도 봐서 너도 납치로 왔어. 단대로 죽여요. 다시 지도 봐라.
So then all those other practice of Dharma that we have, not actual, not the realization of emptiness, but we do practice, to abandon tendon virtuous actions, right? And to, train in the three trainings, the practice of three trainings and so forth. So those are the Dharma, similar Dharma juice, not actual Dharma juice, but similar Dharma juice.
근데 직접 대파를 와서 직접 맞으면 직접 제비가 대파를 하는 용어를 와서 가지.
So harsh word, is a negative karma, right? It's negative action. If you use a harsh word, that hurts somebody's feeling, and that's bad, right? That's negative karma. But if you abandon that, if you observe the morality of abandoning harsh word, and then you are not using the harsh word.
들리는 지금 탐사로도 먹겠지 맞으면 좀 가지냐 다 도고 나서 그래. 나 지금 맞으면 로쇼데 개와요 그래. 그래서 여기 왔죠. 지금 맞으면 저 거리에 말이다. 제가 맞으면 제가지. 나 지금 맞으면 맞으면 로쇼데 다 개와요 와서.
And so whatever number of the non-virtuous actions that you can abandon, that much of the virtue you accumulate. If you abandon all 10 non-virtuous actions, then you accumulate the virtue of abandoning 10 non-virtuous actions. But even if you just do one, then you at least create one virtue of abandoning one of the 10 non-virtuous actions.
Okay, now stop talking that. 다 들으면서 사실 시와디 나 옹스시 이거 좀 파는 거래. 근데서 그 아주 장초선보다 연대시거든요. 연대.
So now the fourth one, is talking about the distinguishing features, of the minor path. So there are 5. This is distinguishing the method, the higher perfections. And distinguishing, for increasing the number of qualities, how many different kinds of qualities, different kind of excellent qualities you want to achieve. And distinguishing the method for taking fruition birth, and what kind of good rebirth one will have. And distinguishing the method for abandoning the objects of abandonment. What kind of objects of abandonment one will abandon. And then thorough purification. What kind of thorough purification? 영장. 얘들 말이야. 연수장 왔어요. 얘들 말이야. 얘네들아.
다 등보 가르나 다 사등보 되고 바지 찌는 집에 냐면 시바 바지가 여바지 뒤 나는 조 집에 냐면 딱 냐면데 뭐하고 딱 소통을 해서.
So the first one is the distinguishing the method for attaining the higher perfection. Right? It says the method for attaining the higher perfection is that one ranges from the attainment of the higher practice of perfection of generosity on the first ground to the attainment of the higher practice of the perfection of exalted wisdom on the 10th ground. And so during the first ground there is other perfections, but the higher practice of the perfection is that of generosity.
어디지 다 되네 다 사등보도 사체와 그냥 고놈색이다 통함색이면 그냥 싹 고놈색으로 나서 고놈.
So here, this first ground, there are 2 first grounds, right? The first ground on the path of seeing and the first ground on the path of meditation. So here, we're talking about only part of meditation now. So all these 10 grounds are all on part of meditation.
되지. 다 가져 봐서 담보네. 봐서 주시 내가 답도 없는 이시 봐서 주 그래서 와. 다른 사적으로 방하지 않아.
And so, for the 10 perfection, you know the 6th perfection, right? The perfection of generosity to the perfection of wisdom. And then on top of that, there is called the method, the power, prayer, and exalted wisdom. And so those are the 4 more perfections. And so with the 4 of that, it becomes 10 perfections.
뭐지? 다 되지. 어들이 저거래. 다 니봐. 아니 얘들이 저 얘들이 잠패비 저거나 가면 다 사동부 제도도 끼치면 산지 자이 샤도마.
Oh, 26. Page 26. So you can see that number 4, right? Distinguishing features. That's in bold.
다 얘들 잠깐 그러나 다 사동부디 아니 제도도 끼치면 산지 자이 샤도마. 대다고 실로 아니 다 수수 시도봐. 산지 신 자판도네 봐. 아니 대다고 신 남아시나 지든지 감으라고 저지 뭐라고 자여와시네 봐. 까와자 내봐. 까와지 내가 신이 타다도 양다버 시바. 양다버 이시지 지바 주네 봐. 등에도 뭐라고 자라 여바 주네 봐. 취지고 뭐라고 신네 봐. sem신 뭔가 신네 봐. 다들 마다 레레 가지고 되게 잘 되더라고.
그래서 담보니 버를
다섯 담보니 다섯 번 쉬어야 잘 되더라고.
중요도 돼요.
그래 중요해. 아니다 들려야 되는 건데 맞아 모셔야 돼.
So it says in distinguishing the method for increasing the number of qualities. It says in one moment of subsequent attainment, now the first ground, one sees 100 Buddhas. On the attainment, one attains knowledge of their blessing. One is able to go to 100 Buddha lands. One is able to illuminate 100 of these lands. So these are all in the first ground. Right? And one is able to vibrate 100 different worldly realms. One is able to live for 100 eons. One engages in seeing with the perfect exalted wisdom 100 past and future eons. One is able to have a meditative absorption in 100 different meditative civilizations. One is able to open 100 different doors of doctrine. One is able to bring to fruition 100 sentient beings. One is able to eliminate 100 of one's one is able to emanate 100 of one's own bodies, and one is able to gather as a retinue for each of one's emanated bodies 100 Bodhisattva superiors. And so these are all, the qualities in the first ground. Any questions on that?
Yeah. Let's take 3 years to study that. Especially number 5, one is able to live for 100 years. That means they never die in each particular life, or even though they're reincarnating, they never die.
Able. He said before at the beginning of the class that there's a difference between able and necessarily will, right?
How long is it?
가오자보다 내그랬어요.
네, 니그랬어. 통과했어. 내거나. 내가 그냥 말까. 네, 니그랬어.
근데 너가 있잖아, 그 시계 말았어.
다른 가서 그 sem전을 못하는 분이 와는데 그 시계 말았어. 내 나도 내 도움만. 나도 로자 내 도움만.
So they can live. It's possible for them to live that long, but it's not certain that they will live that long. It depends on many situations. Like depends on if the Bodhisattva comes here, if he sees that it's only beneficial for 100 years, he will only live for 100 years. If he sees that it's beneficial to live for 1,000 years, he will live 1,000 years. So he can live up to 100 years. So he has already gained control or power over death and birth.
So what happens to the 101st eon? He can't. There's no more control.
가봐 야제라 때문에 그런 거예요 말았어. 일하 가봐 야하 야는 거예요 말았어.
그때 매니로.
Yeah, sounds like that, right?
Yeah, sounds like that.
He has only ability to live up to 100. Only 100 years, not much.
It's like when you get the ID DMV.
You notice it's only 100 years, not much. That's nothing. Countless years, compared to countless years, right?
What is an eon like a length of time, or is it a state of mind?
It's a length.
It's the length of time,
How long?
but immeasurable length of time.
They have some way of calculating it in
Yeah.
Sanskrit, but it's long. It's a
Yeah.
long time.
It's billions years.
This is a
Similar to the US debt.
this is really I teach you explain maybe long time ago,
Yeah, I think you did, yeah.
but now I also forget. I don't know.
I know.
Just be anyway, eons. And then any other questions?
But you said about the number 5, right?
6, I meant, yeah.
Oh, you still in 6, okay.
Yeah. Once, can I say something? Once we had a couple, Paula Chichester and her former boyfriend, they're now a monk and a nun, they came here. I don't think you were here, Geshe-la. They came here and gave a workshop one weekend, and I asked them, because they knew Lama Yeshe very well, and I asked them what level of Bodhisattva grounds did they think he was on. And they said the 3rd level. But I don't know how they knew that. You know,
3rd level?
I don't even know why they would answer my question.
What level is it?
3rd ground.
3rd ground, okay.
No way to check that.
Yeah, it's possible.
So let's see what the 3rd ground is.
Okay, then we move, okay? That's how you know the tender way you did. Don't drop, there's a juni. It is a tanda, near Mongol so tender with that. Don't drop, there's a juni.
So then it says here, right, ranging from this number of qualities, one on the 2nd ground, one attains 1,000 qualities of, for each of the 12 attainments, right? And on the 3rd ground, one attains 100,000 qualities for each of the 12 attainments. And the 4th ground, one attains 110 million qualities for each of these 12 attainments. On the 5th ground, one attains 1,010 million qualities for each of the 12 attainments. On the 6th ground, one attains 100,000, 10 million qualities for each of the 12 attainments. On the 7th ground, one attains 100,000, 10 million qualities for each of the 12 attainments. On the 8th ground, one attains a number of qualities equal to the number of subtle particles of the 3,000 for each of the 12 attainments. And on the 9th ground, one attains a number of qualities equal to the number of subtle particles of 1,003,000 for each of the 12 attainments. And on the 10th ground, one attains a number of qualities equal to the number of subtle particles of an inexpressible number of Buddha lands for each of the 12 attainments.
I don't know how they count it. This is a Kanjanaji, that's Dijaya, Devakia, the Sonam Sash, the year was when in the Chick Tidan Gashiro.
When you was good.
When you were teaching the Mahad,
She's from the Prajna Paramita, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah.
So Buddha told them, that's why they know.
That's right. I mean, yes, it is true that this is how it is. It's not just, just saying it. Of course, it's true. But if you know it, the reason for you to know, so that you can have a strong faith in them, devotion in them, or such and such quality, and then you have more strong faith in them.
Okay. Tade karo, nom jiwa karo, mana yede je tamu jiwa jiwa. Ta sambate nom jiwa le jiwa.
And now there was the increasing the number of qualities, right? In the 1st ground, 2nd ground is 10 times more, then 10 times more, like that. So 100 times more, 1,000 times more, like that. And then in the 3rd one, this is distinguishing the method for taking fruition of rebirth.
Ta satomo de tombo ben zombe
And so what kind of, what does it mean by taking a fruition of birth? And what does it mean? Just so you'll explain here now. A person on the first ground takes birth as a will-turning king ruling the world. A person on the second ground takes birth as a ruler of the four worlds, the four continents, right? And the person on the third ground takes birth in the heaven of 33. A person on the fourth ground takes birth in the abode free from conflict. A person on the fifth ground takes birth in Tushita heaven. A person on the sixth ground takes birth in the heaven of joy in emanations. A person on the seventh ground takes birth in the heaven of having power over others' emanation. A person on the eighth ground takes birth as great Brahma, Lord of the first thousand. A person on the ninth ground takes birth as great Brahma, Lord of the second thousand. A person on the 10th ground takes birth as the great Lord, Son of the gods of the highest pure land. The highest pure land.
Okay? That's the fruition of birth.
That's the fruition of birth.
So
this is such and such kind of birth you can take.
Okay, should I have a question?
Yeah.
It seems like a bodhisattva would always want to come back and have a rebirth as just a person to help us.
Mm-hmm.
So why would they go and take a rebirth in some heaven?
You mean as a human person?
Yeah. Because they're not perfected yet.
So you mean why are they born in the heavens?
Yeah, why wouldn't they, as a choice, come back as a human again?
자, 먼저 마음치 때 자주성을 마음치 미 겨워 된지 되는 심지어는 팬더치가 있겠어. 늘 두스라 팬더치 요로 두스. 이나들은 그런도 좋은데 되는 공부하는 데는 가지는 데는 하유들을 깨고 그래서 가지는 데는 미 겨워 된지 거 말이야. 그런 거를 라오메.
대체 도는 국제 넣어도 잘 말해서. 국제 니바도 열고 말고. 국제 넣어도 그냥 그래. 국제 니바도 열고.
가서 깨요 말했어. 가서는 되는 하유를 깨고 그래서 누가 면을 가서 그래서 라오메를 했어. 미 겨워를 라오메를 했어.
미 겨워 내가 겨워 누구 그랬어. 그냥 단단하고서 다 주대되고 너무 기우신지 이러도 집어서 다 사제도 자주서 좋아해 말했어. 말도 사제도 자주서 동감해.
막 그래서 또 지나는 거 좋다디 배나다 자주 생각들 잘 받는 거를 내는데 선제 된지 제대로 지거라. 이날 그런 데는 그런 데서 늘 그런 소다 상마 조사들은 아무 상계를 오라. 상계 막야 거기 대체야 말아. 상계를 오라. 나시다 그런 게 레 상복이 되고도 교사 보내더라. 근데 그런 교사 보내 이마다 대천이라. 근데 그걸 하여를 깨야 되는데 대체는 말이야. 대체는 되면은 그 지난주 팬더 매우라고 하는 말이었지. 그래서 가든지.
다 누가 소리를 내야 고사서면다. 다 그렇게는 좀 때려 주는 거였어. 다 다들 그 팬더 매야 야. 배운 거로.
그래 어디래? 어디래? 고마워.
No, I was looking there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, they have a power, and they have a power to come back as a human being and do that. And sometimes you can say they don't have a power in different way, not in a negative way, not because they are, they don't have the power, but because they have created good karma, so they will have good result. That's hope, that's the reality, that's the nature. By nature, they will have a good result. So like bodhisattvas, they want to be born in cyclic existence. They want to remain in cyclic existence and benefit sentient beings, but without any choice, they gain enlightenment. They don't want to gain enlightenment, but because they create this merit, they eventually they gain enlightenment. And so even if you want to stay in cyclic existence, you cannot stay because you have created so much good action that it looks like they don't have control over it. So yeah, why they are born in the heaven? Because they created good karma, so they have a good result. So they will be born in a good place like that. One thing is like that. But one thing could be also because even though they have power, they don't see much benefit there. They see more benefit over there, so they are born there. So it could be either way.
Is this saying that they definitely do take these rebirths, or that it's possible for them?
It's possible for them. So it's possible for them to take this kind of rebirth, but it's not necessary that they will take it. So whatever is more beneficial, they will do that. They have the power to be born as universal monarch or the king of the heaven and so forth, but it's not necessary that they will be born that way.
But even those are also temporary, so you're still come back for, as a God, you're still, it's just a longer time.
That's right.
So you still come back and have a choice again.
Yeah, so wherever is most beneficial, and they will come to that place.
Okay? Yeah. Zukam
Are they all Sukam? All of it?
No.
Which one is Sumekam?
Yeah, Sumekam.
Sumekam is somewhere. Sumekam is Sukam. How can you benefit if you don't have form?
But there are still some sentient beings.
Oh yeah, there are sentient beings.
I don't know.
Navatai, Namshetai, Chiangme, there's nothing there, just nothing there, so how can you practice Dharma, right? So it's difficult to benefit beings, we're talking about there's form realm, formless realm, and then desire realm. So desire realm, yes, of course you can benefit in the form realm also, but formless realm may be difficult. It's debatable. Of course, for Buddha, even though they don't have form, Buddha can still see them, right? Because they have mind. The mind, Buddha can see their mind. So they can maybe benefit it that way. But very difficult.
Maybe Buddhists can do it.
Yes, Buddhists.
Yeah, if you can see it, then you can see a way to benefit it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that makes
Those guys
sense.
are.
So they can see their mind, the sentient being, their mind, they can see. They don't have body, but they have other aggregates. They have feeling, they have discrimination, they have other aggregates. So they can still be perceived by Buddhas, not by ordinary beings like ourselves, but they can still be perceived. So in that way, maybe but very difficult. So when here, I think it's talking about the 3,000 world system.
And that is our system.
Yes.
So our just for my reference, our current system can be known as the 3,000 world system.
It's part of 3,000.
It's part of
3,000 world system.
Thank you.
How do you say it, Ben?
동숨기 동숨. 직등에 감 동다들 숨스고 동첨보스. 다들 참아 수감다 수명감다 또 참아야 되나. 직등 감스다 직등 감스다 감다 숨자 찍었다 직등 감치. 대나시다 동그라 숨 이래 동숨 동쳐다 대라 파스.
Then any other questions?
How do they teach this in the monastery?
Just like this.
What kind of comments do your teachers make when they're teaching?
대시간에 되었어. 그지도 그는 대시간에 되었어.
내가 저도 빼자 내가 지한테 찍는 거 세워줬어. 내리는 건 공부하려고. 빼자들 써야 되니까.
맞아, 사람 빼서 다 알아.
사람 쳐야 돼. 이렇게 깨고.
No, there is a commentary to this. You can study the commentary, and then it will explain more on that. But when you study, you can study just this way, and just like there's a commentary here. Also, there's other texts that commentates about this.
Well, what did teachers say? Like, did teachers say something different even from the commentaries?
So yeah, they will explain it more extensively, but it will be more confusing. And so then they will talk about, here it talks about the 4 concentrations, right? 4 concentrations, the first concentration, second concentration, and then there are 17 regions in 4 concentrations, so each concentration has this many regions and this many regions and so forth. So yeah, they go into this kind of detailed explanations. So more things to remember for you. More things to memorize.
What level of student in the monasteries is learning this text?
Could you go to the door? You not so maybe 4th, 5th years. 4th years or 5th years. 4th, 5th, I was starting the philosophy class. Before that, for a certain number of years, memorize the prayers, study the grammars, and the Tibetan grammars, the poetries and things like that. You just study that for several years, and then after 4, 5, 6 years, then you enter into the philosophy class. So after entering the philosophy class, 4 years after entering into the philosophy class, then you study this. Yeah, so it talks. It's mostly this includes all these the 8 8 chapters of the ornament of clear realization. 8 chapters. There are 8 chapters. So you study. There's one chapter which takes about a year, and then there's a second chapter, third chapter. There's 8 chapters like that. So here also it talks about the 4 concentrations, like I said before, and then that has 17 the regions in the form realm. So there's a 4 concentration in the form realm.
Okay.
So even I don't know every detail of this. So of course I will not be able to explain to you, and you will not know it either. And so here it talks about so the person on the 10th ground takes birth as a great lord, the son of the gods of the highest pure end. So the exact word will be none below.
Yeah.
You know that? None below. So the person on the 10th ground takes birth as a great lord, son of the gods of the highest pure land. So this highest pure land is the pure land of the enjoyment body, of the 4 bodies of the Buddha. Sambhoga Khaya, enjoyment body. So the enjoyment body can be only seen by bodhisattvas, Arya bodhisattvas, the spiritual bodhisattvas. So we, if you are like me who's not Arya bodhisattva, then you will not be able to see the enjoyment body of the Buddha. So there's this 5 qualities of the enjoyment body. It says the quality of the disciple is surrounded by only an Arya Bodhisattvas as a disciple, and in the place where he resides is the highest pure land only, and then the Dharma he teaches is only the Mahayana Dharma, and the time he stays is until end of the cycle existence. And then the quality of the body is that his body is adorned with all these 32 major and 80 minor marks of the Buddha. So the five certainties of the enjoyment body. The certainty of the disciple is only Mahayana. The Arya Bodhisattvas and so forth.
Okay. Then what else?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So when they, for example, when they have some teachings like let's say I don't know if the Prajnaparamitas are like that or not. Those actually take place in India. But there are some Mahayana sutras that take place in like heavens. And it seems like it's the enjoyment body is teaching. Is it right? But then they also have people like Subhuti or Shariputra or someone or characters listening to that teaching too. Mm-hmm. Like we were reading the Heart Sutra. Shariputra is there and hearing the teaching. But that was in India. That took place in India, not in the heaven. The only one I can think of is the Dode Gongdel, but Dode Gongdel isn't the... It's Mahayana, but it's not the Prajnaparamita, so... Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be Prajnaparamita that the enjoyment body teaches.
Goma. The Prajnaparamita person, Sharaga Prajnaparamita Gomara. 최선을 가서 로그를 소외를 최저라 최명받을 대바침도 최바 소모자를 저기 이제 님들이다 파진 가서 샤르고 파진 거 봐라.
대고 남을 좀 걸었어요.
So any kind of Mahayana Dharma. That's your mind. 대바침 치면 되고.
Yeah, 대바침 치면은 돼요.
But then the Prajnaparamita, like some of the disciples who are in the story are not bodhisattvas either.
That's right. Yeah. 다들 파진 가서 샤르고 파진 송사들아
대고
샤르고 송사들아 이제 자신 배우는 거라서. So if it is the enjoyment body who's teaching,
they wouldn't see it.
Perfection or Prajnaparamita, then it will be only Arya Bodhisattvas.
So in that case,
so other beings would not be able to go in this teaching.
So that's just the Tulku that's teaching in that.
That's right, Tulku, the Manakaya.
특히 디잘라다 샤제서 샤제는 봐봐. 진짜 동의 맞다.
Tulku,
로고. 다 맞아 지금 다 특히 디잘라로 와서.
샤라님 뭐 송사변에 샤라님 뭐 송변에다 조고도 좀 조고라다 조고스 조고 the supreme illumination body. The supreme illumination body is the one who taught the Prajnaparamita, the professional wisdom sutra, right? On the virtuous peak, so there are so many different kinds of beings as a disciple. So the Buddha Shakyamuni is the supreme illumination body, right?
아니 아무래도 내가 주인이 딱 때문에
So those Buddhas, who come into the world and perform the 12 deeds are called the supreme illumination body.
But in Dode Gongdel, that takes place in a heaven. So I thought maybe I'm wrong, but isn't the body that Buddha has in the heavens when he teaches in heavens to like all these bodhisattvas and gods and stuff? Is it should it be the Longku or is it all
가오
possible that
소설이
Toku
같이
can go to heaven?
이하티 이하 트와 신바시 코트네야 소조 들어 이미지 산에 대해서 말했어. 근데 사실 좀 되는
근데 원래 수에서
이제
말해.
이제
이제 수들어간 거라?
No,
수들어간 거라.
no, Doregon, the Sambinirmo Chana Sutra.
꼴은 다 말아.
Gongdel.
맞아. 그렇다마?
꼴은 다 말아.
Yeah.
The third one of Buddha.
Korotama.
Third one of Buddha, yeah.
아니 세다
So that is also in India, right?
No, this one, I mean, at the beginning of it, it says he's in a heaven and it describes all this amazing stuff that's there. Yeah. But then I don't
But if
know.
it's in the, if it's the third one of Buddha Dharma, then it's in this world, right? In Yangbachen. What was that?
양마잖아요.
That's,
Is it in
인디아.
Yangbachen is in India?
yeah, what is the name that in Sanskrit?
Yang.
Vaishali,
Vaishali.
yeah. So a place called Vaishali in India, that's where he turned the third one of Buddha Dharma.
이나 대단 사도는 나 사실 좀 내가 죽어서 진짜 죽었어. 그래서 진짜 되게 뒤집어야. 대소사 말이야. 빨리 인터야. 다음 코르도 먹고 말이야. 이 쉐발이야. 저가 되는이야. 고민이 벌써 말이야. 고대가 내가 지금 고대를 봤어.
So this one explanation says that he gave all these three tones of Buddha Dharma at the same time, at one time, at the same time, the same moment. So then that, how can that happen, right? So it cannot happen in one place. So this, he emanated other body, and then he gave that teaching, second turn of Buddha Dharma, in other place, in other world system. And then the third turn of Buddha Dharma emanated by through the emanation of other body in the different world system. And so that way he can give all these three turns of Buddha Dharma at one time, at the same moment.
Yeah.
And so therefore, so the third turn of the Buddha Dharma, the Buddha Gongdel, could be taught in the heaven by that other emanation.
So I have one other question, sorry.
Yeah.
Which is, I've always wondered, like, we read in the Prajnaparamita and those other Mahayana sutras that, like, Manjushri and Maitreya and Avalokiteshvara are there, like, at the teachings and talking with Shariputra and whatever. So, but also, we still pray to them and worship to them as if they are still bodhisattvas called.
Or Buddhas,
Yeah, right. So at that time, are they like, reborn as people called Maitreya and Manjushri, and that's why we call them that now? And who knows, they may be Buddhas or whatever. I mean, I'm just trying to understand like what they were. I mean, the other, well, maybe the Shariputra is Arya, so maybe you can see them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
제레스의 잠배한테는 여자 뭐 혼성마들다 상기 최선선을 열어서 뭐라 아들도 코너도 가라 되는 거네 걸었다디 그 콘도 가래상 걸어서 만들었다 코너도 상기 주바 얘는 거의 전수 뭐 주바 때 내용 말하기 내가 때문에 거래 전수 선발을 가라서
다 자체적으로 좁아도 돼요. 상기는 정말
상기 잘했다.
나 자체적으로 좁았대니 이 주제를 배워요.
So yeah, they just emanated as a bodhisattva. And be there in the audience to receive the teachings.
They can be Longku. They're talking to Shariputra.
I think it's not good.
They can be if Shariputra can talk to them. But Shariputra is taken. Only he said before, like Longku can only be seen by, or only has as their retinue.
And his disciples.
Yeah.
The disciples can be only. I don't know about the seeing, but disciples has to be only a superior bodhisattva.
But that's true. Maybe this is very
Seeing
tricky.
and
Because
seeing
in the
and being a
Heart
disciple
Sutra,
is different.
in the Heart Sutra, although Shariputra asks Avalokiteshvara to teach the Prajnaparamita,
he asked a question.
He only asked it because Buddha made him ask it.
Yeah, that's right. Blessed.
So it's kind of tricky.
So it's called the blessed teaching.
Yeah. So he's not really a disciple, really, because it wasn't his own decision to ask.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Buddha blessed him to ask. 신기하겠다. 시라님보다 신기하겠다.
주지야.
오케이.
Then, Emma, one question?
It's about long good. Long good is just that, but can I go to choose something
만났대.
그냥
롱크 주사대 대화 좀
자연스러워요.
해줘. 롱크 주사대 대화 좀 해주고, 오늘도 못 가면 대 주사고 추송 거네. 추송서 향선 봐봐 다다하면 그 우시간대 놔두고 말이야.
심각하거나.
심각한 거 나거든. 대 좌우로 좌우스를 향선 사고하는 거래. 향선 봐봐. 이거는
Still think about it.
오늘도 못 가면 산토마지 다기 잠깐 산책이 장. 다 대대 샤점 사과도 들어와 되냐 때가 주인은 요토고 있는 이나야. 이제 메시지에서 다 들어와 땅 요마다. 아니 그한 니빠는 게 다대 그래 별토고 있는 말이야. 아니 주인이야 되지 않는 건 말이야. 그래. 이건 말이야. 그래? 또 이렇게 냐제면 말이야. 이나 섬진한 딱 손은 더 많이 사실 좀 전에 너블라 밤에 추송을 이나 우치가 손을 매는 때 맞게 지지가 right? Okay, then we stop. Okay, now we stop. Do short.
Short version?
Short version. Short.
It's okay. We can do long.
First short mandala offering on page 8 in Tibetan. First and fourth. Sa shi